Howdy chaps, and welcome back to XA Coupe Go. We're doing a bit of an at-home episode today. We're playing with the XB. Yeah, I have been shopping, and I will show you what I have purchased. So I went out driving in the XB yesterday, and it's so good. The brake booster's done. Now I can drive the car. I also worked out while driving along, I was just going to adjust my mirror, and bloop, off it fell. So I've got a Permatex extreme strength thing to glue my rearview mirror back on with. Why Falcons decided to go with that path, I'll never know. My fuel gauge stopped working, so I have a new center unit. My heater tap wouldn't turn off at all, so I would assume that the guts of it are rusted out. So I got another one. I don't know if this is quite the right one, but I'll make it work. And I decided, after driving around with no middle mirror and only my right mirror, that I wanted a left mirror. So I bought one of the brand spanking new reproduction mirrors they make for XBs and I guess Cortinas and stuff. And I have to say, that's pretty good. I think that's really, 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 really good. I would have said that's almost better than the original one. And I don't normally say that about reproduction stuff. I'll tell you how well they fit shortly. But so far at a quick glance, that's awesome quality. So they're worth every penny. So that'll be allowed me to see out the left hand side of the car. Also got myself a little USB plug for the XB and some wiring, and I've got some heat shrink over there. But we're going to tinker with this today. I've got to get the car into the carport. The old boy is mowing at the moment, so I need to move the FG Ute forward, and I'll show you what I've done to that as well in this video. So we've got some tinkering to do. I know I haven't been doing many videos lately, but I've been struggling with content, and normally I would film what I'm doing at work, but the jobs have been so massive that I can't put out videos more regularly on lots of smaller jobs. I've had to do some, it's just been an odd one. So I'm hoping that, because we're going back onto the XY next week, so I'm hoping we'll be able to put out more videos more regularly on more smaller rust repairs. That way you can get more content more frequently. But today I'm just doing a little bit of at-home tinkering. So this is so I can run my Bluetooth speaker. That I didn't want to put a radio in the car because the car's got its original radio, but I still want to listen to music. So I mounted a cable-tied Bluetooth speaker to the bottom half of the dashboard, and it works really well, but now I just need to charge it. So if I put this under there as well, we can charge mobile phones and charge the speaker. And that's just some wiring to wire it in. So should be a good little tinkering episode. So chaps, you haven't seen this ute for a bit. I don't know if I've updated you on the seats, but they're in. They're looking lovely. I will give you a warning to make them tilt forward. You had to take the tilt mechanism on the seat is part of the upper frame, cannot be removed, unfortunately. So the frame and the padding is still the original. The cloth material is what's been changed, but the base is still the same. And I did work out with these seats that the base is the same left and right. So if your padding is worn out, you can just put the get a passenger side one and put it on the driver's side, or vice versa. It's not that hard. And I have given it a bit of a clean. I haven't done anything. The roof line is not in yet because I haven't fixed the roof yet, but I did buy myself a brand new, and I mean genuine original, new old stock out of a box, gear stick and boot. Absolutely amazing. And it was like, I think it was like $90 something. It wasn't expensive at all. It was definitely less than $100. Look at that. Totally original, genuine, out of a box, nice. And there's no rips, no tears. I've got a handbrake boot coming. So that turned up the other day, and that was really easy. That was just pushing a couple of clips here, and that comes out, and the gear stick off like normal. But that just improves the inside of the car, because I mean, look, the steering wheel is lovely. A little bit shinier on this side, but still pretty good. Very satin. And then you get here, and this is lovely. Even the actual button you press on the front isn't shiny, and that's not torn. Oh, it's just beautiful. And the seats are immaculate. I ended up having to leave the leather door trims in because the door trims I got, the handles are stupid on these cars, and they're sort of glued to the door trim, but when they break off, they're really hard to fix if they've snapped off the whole entire mounting point, which is one of those did. So I was stuck. I was like, well, I can't fix that door trim. But I don't think the leather door trims and the cloth seats matter that much. They kind of work together. So we're well on the way to the tidying up of the inside. And once I figure out the roof, I can put the roof lining back and finish off the interior of this car. It'll be perfect. And once I get a new gear stick boot, that'll be much nicer too. So yeah, that's a nice little addition. That made it much nicer to be in. I kept the old one. You never know when it might come in handy. Just beautiful. Just little details. So I'm just going to move this forward and bring up the XB now. Hey chaps, I just brought this in and I said to my old boy, I said, I bet you $100 I get into this car and the fuel gauge starts working now that I have one to replace it. And yes, the fuel gauge is now working. I'm like, you son of... Mustn't be angry. Mustn't be angry. So I'm actually going to leave it in there because I've got half a tank of fuel and I don't feel like getting covered in crap in a cold day like today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a petrol tank for this car and I'll save the center unit for when I put that in, because the fuel tank of this car is fully inflated and not happy anymore. But at least I've got a center unit now. If the thing dies again, I can now change it. But now that I've got one, I suspect it's probably never going to fail. So the next trick is to work out where this next mirror goes, because I reckon that's the bit I'm going to tackle first. So I reckon I'm going to rip the door trim off and look for where that little access hole is that you put your sockets through, and just wing it from there. I reckon it's going to go somewhere here. I just have a feeling. It's not an exact science. You got to get it somewhere where you can see it. I know that the driver side and passenger side mirrors are not actually in the same place if you get real close to them. I reckon these sit a bit further forward down the door, like there, and I reckon on the passenger side it sits further back. But I don't know, I don't have another one to compare it to. So we'll just have to wing it. I'll look for the hole and I'll put it wherever the hole is and then just play it by ear. I think that'll be the... Or I'll get my old boy to hold it and adjust it, and I'll sit and go, yep, about there, I reckon. Which I think that's what I might actually do. After much screwing around with the old boy and the texturing, we worked out that this is not a bad spot. Actually, perfectly honest, I think that maybe these are the same left to right. I heard rumours once that they weren't left to right the same, but I don't know. Seems to be the distance from the point of the mirror to the edge of the door seems to be the same, and you can see it quite clearly, no matter where you're sitting in the car. So maybe they are. Maybe it's the LTD mirrors that are different spots. I don't know. I remember seeing that, but I've actually never looked at it hard enough to wonder if they were the same or not. I just, you know, always good to try it yourself and find out. Chaps, I've just done the mirror gluing situation. Pretty straightforward. You get the cleaner and the applicator. You clean the gunk off. You scrape it clean, scrape your glass clean, then you clean the actual doodad, applicate this to the window and the thing, and then put a dab of that stuff on the, well, I don't know really, the mount, and then put it on the windscreen and leave it there, and it should dry pretty quick apparently. It should be dry, and allow for a minute, set for 13 prior to mount the mirror. And I'm going to leave it till the very last thing I'm doing before I put the weight of the mirror back on, but at least it's back on the windscreen now, so that'll be good. Another task done. Now I'm going to tackle that. I've got my door trim off. I'm just trying to get access to the outer skin, and interesting, maybe it's XC doors that have that extra brace through there, but on like an XC Falcon there's another brace in there that you have to go through, but obviously on this door it doesn't have it. Well, that's going to make it real easy, but you do access the mirror holes through where your interior handle goes, so I reckon I'm just going to mount the oldie mirror to the door. I think that's a pleasant little bonus. Nice. Just like that, couple of drills, just that simple. So all I did was line it up, drill a couple of holes, boom, mirror on, Well, obviously, once I've put the glass back in it and put the bolts on it, but yes, just that simple. I don't know if it's 100% perfect. This isn't the door that I'm ultimately going to use on this side. I have another one that doesn't have all this horribleness on the front of it. So I've got another door that I am currently repairing that's going to take this place. So this is a good practice anyway. At least allows me to drive the car with a left mirror for a while. And then I can just take it off and do this properly to the other door when the other door is good to go. But yes, just that simple. I love it. I'm going to put this in the skin. I think maybe it goes that way on the inside. And put the bolts on and be done with it. That'd be awesome. And I can have a left mirror. You wouldn't think it's a thing, but once you lose your middle mirror and you've only got your driver's mirror, trying to change lanes in traffic is very difficult. I'm okay with no left mirror, but no mirror, center mirror is horrible. And I figured, well, it's going to be a GT replica eventually anyway, one day, so wouldn't be a bad idea to have a left mirror eventually anyway. And they seem to fit fairly well. Pretty good quality. I'm actually impressed. There we go, mounted. I don't know if I got it 100% right, but I know it's on, fits. It's probably, a quick glance on even with the other one. Was a bit of a pain to get in there. It doesn't touch anywhere it shouldn't. Just clears, I think, maybe. I don't know. I'll wing it if it doesn't. At least I've got it there. And I can say that a stupidly long extension with a deep socket through this bottom hole while the window is up is the best way to do them up, but to actually get them on, window down through that hole. So there's that. A little bit of it. And you know what's funny? A stupidly long extension seems stupid, but stuff like an EB Falcon 6-cylinder starter motor, some of those bolts are easier got to with like a meter long extension and got from the front of the engine. That seems so stupid, but if you, I learned that years ago. You get all the way from the front where the harmonic balancer is, and all the way through with a really long extension, you can undo a 6-cylinder Falcon starter motor real easy on, say, an E-Series where they're all tucked up underneath everything and there's limited room for ratchets. But yeah, sort of thing. Stupidly long extension, come out that bottom hole really easy. So I'm going to put the glass in and then adjust it and then put my handles back in, door trim back on, and then be done with that task. It actually looks pretty cool now it's on. And I'm still going with that rat roddy look, so I'm not going to paint it. I'll paint it when I do the whole car. So you'll go, why is your mirror black? Well, it's because it's not original. Anyway, at least it's there. So we'll keep it on, I've got to find somebody who wants the rest of these body side mouldings, which are the factory ones, because I want to get rid of those. I don't have this piece, but the rest of them, the two all doors, that guard, and the two rear quarter ones, if somebody's doing up a GT or something, sing out, because I want to get rid of these. I hate them so much. It looks stupid, especially considering I don't have the full set. Oh, and I actually the other day put on the final piece of trim on my windscreen, finally. I've got to get another windscreen, I think. It's crack. The chip is actually now a crack. So, put the glass in, put the door trim on, and see what else treasures I can get done today. Okay, job done. Mirrors on. I'm not going to tackle the centre unit today because it's cold, miserable, rainy, and I don't feel like laying on the cold ground. And the gauge says the car's got half a tank of fuel, which I would believe. So I don't want to get drowned and stuff. The next thing I'm going to tackle is the USB doodads, so I can run my Bluetooth speaker and charge it, and phones. But my door trim's back on, looking lovely. Okay, so as a product review, really, really, really good. I was stunned. I kept thinking, gee, are they supposed to kick up like that? But then I looked over here at an original one that's never been off a car, and yes, they do kick up. They're not supposed to. Well, I don't know if they're not supposed to. It could be just luck of the draw, really. But they do. Well, this one they seem to kick up, but it is fitted properly. A little bit of wind noise, but if you're looking for one for your Falcon, I must say the quality is pretty good. I'll have to give that an A++. I can't really fault it at all. Money well spent, I'd say. I'd say it's as close to original as you could get. So, for those who wanted to know, very good. Yeah, on to the next stuff. I'm having one of those moments where I'm testing out my old heater tap and it seems to still work. I don't know if you can hear me over the wind, but that seems to still work. But I couldn't work out why I couldn't turn the heater off last night while driving it. And I'm starting to wonder whether or not I might have those hoses the wrong way around. So I was like, Googling it. I was like, why am I Googling this? I have the factory workshop manual. Ugh, moron. Here we go. If you have an old car of one of these series, I strongly recommend you buy yourself one of these. They can be got. I got this off eBay for about $70, and I have the equivalent for other things. Momentarily distracted by a parcel man bringing my brand new handbrake boot for the FG. Oh. See, now there was several different types of these that you can buy, and I made sure I went with one that looked, oh, wind, as close to the original as possible with all the little extra clips. And I'm pretty sure that was like 20 bucks. So I'll put that in a bit later too, maybe. There we go. Hopefully this wind doesn't wreck the video too much. So after struggling with this for more than 5 minutes, I got the factory one out in about 2 seconds. This was actually... The sad thing is this was the better looking of all of the aftermarket ones you could buy. And it still didn't fit really well. There's supposed to be elastic around here. It feels like it's just a rope. So I had to put this on the boot before I could put the actual thing on the car. And I took out the clips that this one came with and put the original ones on, because these are way bigger than the factory ones, and this actually clips in quite well. If you can get a genuine one, get a genuine one like this. That's genuine. That went straight in with no issues. This, being aftermarket, put up a fight. But it does look better than this, which is, you know, manky and a bit yuck. I'm not going to throw this out because this is better than some I've seen. And a good clean that might be useful on one that's really, really bad. But at least, there we go. So the inside's now new seats, new boot, another boot, new gear stick, new steering wheel, roof linings, brand new. So the whole inside of this car is going to be absolutely spiffy when it's done. So, you know, that's it. We'll get back onto the XB now that that's turned up and arrived and now installed. So I've got my new heater tap in now. I'm not super happy with it. My old one appears to have been working, but I figured I just spent the money on this, so I might as well put it in here and keep the old one in the boot in case it fails, which is entirely possible. So unfortunately this one doesn't have any way for that to mount. It just sort of swings in the breeze, but I think that'll be okay. I mean, this will do for now. It'll at least allow me to use the car, and I can test to see if this one works. I mean, the other one, you know, you have it in the off position, it certainly is off. So I don't know. And I checked my hose route, that's correct. So must have been just really hot last night potentially. So trying to figure out what's next. That's done. Mirrors on. Gear stick boots on the Falcon. Now we're going to get this in, and I think that'll be just about it for playing with this car for the day. Should make for a, well, possibly an interesting video, maybe not. I'm going to just test to see if that heater tap is in fact working. Put that to hot. It's not that moved. Yep, that seems to be working. Hiya. And cold. So that seems to work. And I can put my mirror back on in a second. Let's see if it's strong enough to hold it now, eh? I don't trust those at all, not one bit. But that's weird, the stuff's still wet, but it's dry. Crazy. Maybe that's just how it works. Maybe it only goes off once it touches the actual activator. That's weird. It's glued on though. Strange stuff. I'm going to wash this stuff off and keep on keeping on. I'm just here in my electrical whiz-bangery where I'm trying to wire up this thingamabob that I'm going to put under the dashboard of the XB somewhere. And I just worked out the positive and negatives, and I've just bought myself some of this wire. So one's got a black stripe for negative, one's not. Put my terminals on it, put a heat shrink. It's going to look nice if it ever focuses. And then I'll figure out where the hell I'm going to wire that in. But that should make life way easier. I thought about putting a cigarette lighter in, but everybody just puts the adapters in with this anyway, so... Whoa. Totally having a thunderstorm later. And I figured I'll just shortcut it and get straight to the point. So yeah, keep on keeping on. So after much messing around, I've got my little USB phone pluggy thingamabob in there. I've got my Bluetooth speaker charging, which is awesome and loud. I've just got to tuck the wiring up. I basically just unplugged the factory cigarette lighter because they're pretty well useless these days because they're really deep and you can't get a normal, like, anything into them. So I figured that's useless, so I'll just unplug it, and there's the earth off it and the positive off it, and teed in my wiring for the back of this little guy. And I've currently got my phone charging here, my Bluetooth speaker charging here, and now, you know, I've got tunes and the ability to plug a phone in. Actually, pretty neat. Also, that's back up, the mirror's on, I think everything's pretty well buttoned up for the day. And yes, the fuel gauge is still working, yet it wouldn't at all last night. So I'm going to wrap up this video here. It's a very different one. It's sort of like the FG tinkering video, but with the XB today. So I'll catch you up next time, and hopefully more content soon.